All right. This is Nostrovini. We're going to be talking women's boxing or the female fight world. Um, in a previous life, I actually did some writing for a great website, Sue Fox's women's boxing website. Sue is still around, and I'm come back a man from the past. Anyway, the thing is, boxing, female boxing, and female in the fight world is actually infinitely better in certain ways than it was during the heyday of of let me expand this picture here a little bit, okay, for myself. Now, what happened was I was writing a little bit for her website, but it was quite the ordeal to follow female boxing at that point. You had a pool, a small pool, let's say, of incredible fighters, but you had no support from the basic powers that be in boxing. There's a little sabotage going on. They were not supporting the ladies, and some fights never happened. And eventually, I tell you the truth, I did my writing for this website. I would find a boxer and get tapes, through the snail mail and evaluate the fighters and then give my predictions and all that kind of stuff. I did that. It was like very primitive. Next to nowadays, it's a joy. You can look up anybody, go in YouTube, you look up the fighters, you know who's fighting. Anyway, one of the tragedies of those days was certain fights that should have happened never happened. And eventually the public sort of, I have to say it was me, lost interest because of a frustration. For instance, the great Layla Ali was going to fight Ann Wolf. These were two women who did not need nicknames. You know, the Wolf was her real name, Ann Wolf, one of the hardest punching female fighters of all time. Layla, on the hand, was a boxer puncher and had the charisma of a father and the guts of a street fighter. She could box and she could punch, very strong. And very charismatic, very nice woman. I met her once. I was mesmerized. She was actually more beautiful in person than in the photos. Look at that photo there. But and she was going to fight Jackie Frazier. And Jackie was on one side, Layla was on the other. They had a great brawl. Jackie was an amazing fighter in her own way, a very hard puncher, and went into boxing in her 40s and did quite well, natural athlete and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, my frustration came. Eventually, there was going to be a fight between. Eventually, there was, that didn't happen, between the coal miner's daughter and Lucia Riker, which is sort of like the equivalent of Rocky Marciano fighting Joe Louis, both in their primes. Lucia, unfortunately, the fight never happened because of the promoters, because of money. Same thing with the Lady Ali and Wolf fight. Lady Ali wanted a lion's share, but Ann wanted her money too, and actually she was going to fight a guy. And what happened, an act of God prevented the fight from happening. A hurricane, Katrina, knocked out the city that the fight was going to happen, which was in the south. Anyway, I go off on a tangent here. The Layla Ali fight never happened with Ann Wolf. Christine Martin and Riker. And Riker was one of the hardest punchers ever in female boxing. And probably, she could knock over a building. Anyway, fight never happened. Almost happened when both were a little past their primes, and the heat of the promotion was not there. It had gone cold. People lose interest in a while, and it didn't happen. The unfortunate thing is I had these daydreams that Riker would fight like Joe Louis, the actually small pool of female fighters, but very elite. There was an injury between so the Martin fight never happened. And then also there were fighters that would have been great. Cheetah, what was her name here? Yeah, my brain is Frida Gibbs, Frida the Cheetah Gibbs, the one who was a kickboxer and an incredible fighter, a lot of charisma, powerful, boxer puncher. Didn't happen. Uh, Samuel Anani, very durable girl, Middle Eastern, I believe, ethnically. I think she was born here. She was she was a very, very good fighter. She actually beat Christy Martin, took off some of the luster off Christy. Very durable, very strong, very awkward. Fight didn't happen between her and Rika. Because Rika had been fighting since she was 16, all tired of fighting. From her perspective, I could see, hey, I want to make a big payday, become a super duper and parlay this into some Hollywood stuff. From her perspective, I could see this. But from my perspective as a fan, not so good. Not so good. But there were a lot of good fighters. There was Ann Wolf, as I say, and Kathy Collins, very good fighter. Let's see, there was a fight I would have liked to see in this Layla Ali against Shannon Dallas Hall, American Gladiator. These are very colorful people. But alas, it was not to happen. And I sort of got frustrated. But there's a big difference from now and then. First off, you have a huge pool of fighters because you have an amateur program. Before you had women who were coming from tough women competitions, martial arts of various kinds, kickboxing and all that kind of stuff. And they were colorful, but there was this very small pool. And now you have a huge pool, a lot of skillful women. And if you want to look up anybody, and they come from all over the world, they have from South America, the former Soviet Union, the Eastern Europeans, the Asians, so you have this great big body of females. Now I wish they were a little more colorful, than as the old guard was. I have a little prejudice. I like nicknames and all that kind of stuff. In fact, there's going to be a couple of fights that are going to be worthwhile seeing. There's going to be Katie Taylor is going to fight Amanda Nunez. This is an incredible fight. As a New Yorker, this gets me because I'll have divided lawyers. Amanda is from New York, like me. She's from New York. And she's a hometown girl. Yeah, I'm 1/5 Irish. I'm going to go for my Emerald Isle girls from the great Emerald Isles. And the contrast between the two. Amanda is a sort of exotic looking woman. Henry Armstrong of female boxing, seven, count them, count them, 7 championships she's won in 7 different classes. It's amazing. And also she does some MMA, and she's undefeated there too. Very powerful, very strong. I've never seen her really lose a round. Powerful and feisty too, and as an edge. She had fought this common opponent to Taylor, and she mutilated her face, and she said, "Look at that face." I said, "Oh, Nanda, you shocked me. A little edge to you there." And then, but on the other contrast, here, my name, the name is, what is happening to my brain? Let's see. Anyway. Taylor, Chris, it's Taylor, the English girl or Irish girl. She looks like some Colleen that came from the Gunner Isle. You know what I mean? Very contrast. She's very shy, and but she's a fighter, and she's been in tough battles. I think this could be an upset situation here. And you say, why? She's been in tough fighters, controversial things. Some people thought she lost a few fights, then her rematches was great. She's more a boxer, doesn't have great power, has solid power. But the fact that she's been in struggles may have a bearing on her being Amanda. Because Amanda comes forward, boxer punches, mutilates the opponent, knocks out the opponent, has an incredible knockout percentage for a female. I believe it's like some 40 victories and 30 knockouts. It's unheard of in female boxing. Probably the hardest female boxer puncher since Lucia Riker. But she's never been in a demonic life and death fight. What happens if Taylor backs her up? What happens if she gets cut? What if she gets bruised? When she's dealing with a talent that has had the experience of almost being beaten and then coming back, it'll be very different. Right now, I'm favoring Amanda, but not by much, because the intangible thing is Amanda has never been in trouble, knocked down, or really hurt or backed up in any fight I've seen. And that could be to her detriment, because what happens when it does happen? And believe me, with Taylor, it will happen. That girl is gutty. She's tough. It's her natural weight, 135, as opposed to Amanda, who's coming up from 115. Oh my God, what a freak of nature. She can do all these things. You know, when she's a small weight, she looks like a refugee from a aerobics class, from a modern dance class, a little skinny thing. But now she's got the biceps 135. My God, I would be afraid of that aerobics yoga teacher looking modern dancer girl if, she looks like. Anyway, fight's going to happen. It's going to happen, I believe, in April 30th. Not that far away. It'll be coming pretty soon. You'll fill the garden. The garden will be filled. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting fight. And you'll have the Irish there. It'll be all, you have the Spanish, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Latina, Latinx, whatever they call it now, crowd. And you'll have the Irish crowd. You'll have the Irish crowd, who are a little colony of Ireland's best there. And you'll have me, who, if you had a nosebleed, would lose all his Irish blood. But for that time, I'll wear the green. Or will I have a Puerto Rican flag? Well, I'll be confused. I'll be very confused. But I do have what you call your intuitiveness. I'll know who's going to win. I'll try not to be biased. I'll try to, and then, okay, another fight that's happening is Clarissa Shields went to England, fought a competent female fighter there and totally dominated, as she usually does. What's her name? Savannah, the Silent Assassin Marshall. She goes. She goes in to say that basically Shields didn't look so good, didn't seem to be that good a fighter. She destroyed her, which was pretty loud for the Silent Assassin to say. Chrissy Shields was actually trying to be not as sassy as she usually is. Well, her dander went up and the two of them started going after each other verbally. And now I know that the Silent Assassin has a mouth on him when she needs to have it. It's going to be a good fight. At this point, as I say, it's another thing where I'm going to get closer to fight time, and I'll research their fights and all that stuff on the YouTube and see who looks better. Now, a fight, if you want to look up a great fight that when Riker actually, I feel, fought her toughest foe, was another assassin, the Fleetwood Man assassin, Jane Gouch, who I had talked to 20 years ago, and interviewed her and talked to her about boxing and all that stuff. Incredibly durable. She took Riker's best shots and did not get knocked out. Did not get knocked out. They were at their best. I've seen the fight. Look it up on YouTube. I'm going to look it up again myself. And this will give you a taste of what female boxing looked like at its best in the 1990s. I think female boxing, as well as female MMA, female kickboxing, is going to go through the roof, because you have people like Jake Paul, who's taking Amanda under his wings. He's using his ability as a fighter, a promoter, and a phenomena in terms of the internet to help female boxing. Jake tries to make himself look like a jerk, but Jake's a gentleman underneath. I can see through you. speak to everyone. Anyway, time to sign off. I hope I haven't talked too much. Some people say I should make these shorter. I don't know. It's new to me to do this particular thing. I do some little acting, a little comedy, and a little writing, just running my mouth. Anyway, good luck. If Sue Fox is out there, hi Sue, I'm going to send this to you. I don't think we've ever really seen each other back then. It was just emails. My photos of me back then. I'm I've aged a little bit. Got a little beard going on here. Anyway, good luck, everybody. It's going to be a good year for boxing. And I think things in the crazy world outside are going to work out. I have faith. Anyway, goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, let's see. I can do. Boop, boop.